Good morning and happy Thursday, guys. We'll go ahead and start with this because I happen to love my birthday. So, you guys, it is my birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
gosh, I didn't
Christina.
know. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm really excited to be with you guys. Doug asked me earlier, he was like, "Are you working on your birthday?" And I was like, "I am." I haven't actually responded. So, Doug, I am working on my birthday, but I'm doing something that I love, which is being here with you guys on a Thursday. So, very excited about that. We're going to say hello to everybody. Good morning. You guys, I have Claire with me this morning. And if you have not met Claire Shaner, data coach Claire, she is our resident data scientist who has done the survey for the state of the program for Amazon Influencer. And so we are getting a first look at the results from that last time. And I did get just a little bit of a sneak peek a minute ago, but last time there was so much actionable, truly actionable information that came out of this report. I think you guys are going to be so stoked. So, you guys, yeah, Christina says, I love the latest data, Claire. Like, I'm so excited for you guys to see this. I think some of my favorites from last time, and I didn't I'm like trying to pull from last time and not from what I just saw. But one of my favorites from last time was the timeline that it takes the average creator to get to that $5,000 a month mark. Because a lot of times I think we hear like a lot of sentiment in the communities, and people are like, the program's dead, or you can make $1 million in 12 days, right? And really, the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is the data that Claire brings back to us to say, okay, all of that's great, but let's talk about what's really actually happening inside the influencer program. So, super excited about that. We'll bring Claire live here in a minute. I have a couple, thank you. I'm looking at a window in my dad's office here in Miami. So, I also have like a great view. Um, Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. All right, so a couple just kind of like quick admin announcements before we get like dive in and get started. So, first, I want to let you guys know that we have a new Fluencer Fruit Wayward Creator team member, and her name is Jessica Kawash. And you guys probably know her from being either in Circle or in the Facebook group. So she is a Fluencer Fruit user as well as now joining the team. She'll be one of the mods and admins inside of the Circle community. I'm calling this out because one, I'm very excited to have her. She's also been doing a lot of like content repurposing and some other like marketing tech ops stuff for me on the back end. But want you guys to be familiar as well, especially as I travel this next week, that if you need something inside of Circle, if you tag Jess, she will be able to help you while I am gone. Intentionally or unintentionally, we're going on a cruise, and I hear that the internet is bad on the cruise. So I'm just like mentally prepping myself for not having access. Claire's nodding, so I'm assuming.
I just went on a cruise a couple weeks ago and I did have bad internet. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm like, maybe this is the break that I'll need to like actually not log on. So, if you guys get a chance inside a circle, welcome Jess. I'll do a post here in a little bit so that you guys know how to get a hold of her. Um, we'll do calendar at the end. I think everybody knows kind of like what's coming this next couple weeks. But I did want to briefly talk about the Amazon brand opportunity channel inside of the creator community, because I want you guys to know, Christina, I saw your question this morning and it's good because this is exactly what I want to talk about, which is one, what is the purpose of the Amazon brand opportunity challenge or channel inside of the creator community? And I think I want to start by telling you guys what it isn't. My goal is that it does not become another dumping ground for agents and sellers to try and ask you guys for free content. Okay. So I just want to call that out. So you're going to probably see some posts in there that then I pull down because it's not the vibe that I want for our crew. We want meaningful conversations in there. And it's going to take some time for the brands to learn what that means and for us to figure out how that all works because we're launching the community. But for example, the brand, they don't know, right? I've messaged them. They now know, right? But like, I don't want them asking you guys for free on-site videos in there. That's, if they're running a campaign and they're like, hey, we're going to be doing 20 samples, we're launching an umbrella, those sorts of things, like we're looking for 10 creators, this is what we're going to be paying. Those sorts of things are the kind we want, curated quality opportunities for you guys, right? Because there's a bunch of other places where we can get free product in exchange for free content, right? And so there's enough of that currently. So I'm pulling some of those down that are being posted. So there's that. The other thing is the notifications, because a lot of you responded to the notification when one of the brands posted in that channel. Those are notifications. When you respond, it comes to me. So just so you know, I figured I would talk to you guys about it today and tag some of those, like, so that you guys know. But when you respond, that actually comes to me. So I want you guys to know that's a little bit of a work in progress. It's going to take some educating on my part with the brands. But we really want those to be quality interactions. So no, there's no apologies needed. I really wanted you guys to hear like my intent behind it and let you know like why they were being pulled down and where your responses were actually showing up so that you guys, one, don't think that the brands are ghosting you. They're not. But know that those are coming to my inbox and that I just wanted to like talk to you guys about it as opposed to doing individual posts. So yeah, we are not just regular community. We are the banana ones. That's us. So yeah. And like Steven says, like my goal is to keep it so that you guys aren't doing like additional work for free just because a brand exists inside of the Wayward ecosystem. So is this in the app? So it's the waywardcreatorcommunity.com. It is not inside the Fluencer Fruit app. It is separate. So if you are a Fluencer Fruit subscriber, you can get an all access, which includes monthly brand strategy sessions, office hours weekly. We occasionally do these on YouTube, so they're public. We have a Benable training by popular request, August 5th, that will be in there. We've got some other kind of like monthly things that are going to start like being inside of there. But you can also join the community for free. And just have access to the chats. You wouldn't have access to the brand opportunities on TikTok and the events, but you would have access to the text chats. So waywardcreatorcommunity.com is where that lives. And if you need, like, if you get into it and you're like, I can't figure out where to go, just shoot me an email. I'm liz@wayward.com and I'm happy to like help you get set up in there. Yay. Good to know. It's hard to know where some of those messages come to and how to interact. The other thing that I'll tell you is in the Get Started channel inside of Circle there is a quick tutorial on how to update your notifications, because on my end as the admin, there's not a great way to be like, hey, don't alert literally everyone in the community every time there is a post. You actually, as the user, have to go in and update your personal settings. So at the top of the start here, I can't remember which channel, I've pinned it. Like, hey, as you get started, you might want to change your notifications because it is a lot just natively inside. Quality over quantity, 100%. I bet Claire might talk about some of that. Good morning. All right, guys. So those were the things that I wanted to like just plow through as we get started. Claire, thank you so much for being patient while we went through some of that. But you guys, welcome, Claire. Everybody say good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here again. And Liz, happy birthday. Happy to give you this gift of data for your birthday.
It's because we are simpatico. We like data. Yeah.
Yes, you're welcome. Packaged up in a beautiful slide deck.
I love it.
Yeah, for those that haven't met me yet or we haven't interacted much, my name's Claire. I have a professional background in data analysis and have a master's degree in market research. I worked for years for a university as a data analyst until I started making enough on Amazon Influencer that I could quit that job and now work part-time from home and can spend more time with my babies. So very happy to be here and be able to share some of the things that I've learned both from my own experience, but more from the data from all of you, so that you can work smarter and make more of that part-time hours that you are probably also doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to +1 this. Claire's newsletter is so good. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a newsletter. You can get it here. There's my link, my Stan store. You can sign up for the newsletter. It's free. I've been sending out tutorial emails, and I'm going to keep doing that. So please join us there. I really love teaching and coaching, so it's exciting. Are we ready to jump into the data, Liz?
Let's do it. Yes, I will, Dana. Thank you.
Sure. So for this survey, like I said, I've got a professional background in market research, literally like did survey analysis and writing surveys for my master's degree. So I love it. And it's like kind of an art to be able to get good data. And so this is the second time we've done it. We did another survey and report back in Q4, November, December last year, about 6 months ago. And so even a lot has changed since then. Like Creator Connections has blown up. Onsite, I feel like has gotten even more competitive. And so you might be thinking like, where do I go from here? And I hope that this presentation will give you some good data of how to make some decisions, or, take it with a grain of salt. You know what works for you. But if what you're currently doing isn't working for you, then maybe this will give you some ideas. So we had 106 Amazon influencers answer this survey, earning an average of $479 per month. So that's the median. I'll talk a little bit in a minute, median versus mode, for those that haven't thought about that since like high school, with an average of 413 storefront posts. So let me talk for a second about like why median versus mode makes a difference for this. So here is how much people earn per month. So on the right hand, this y-axis, or left hand, we have the count of how many influencers. And then down here, we have their earnings per month that they said. And I asked people in the survey to like think about the last 2 months. So we know the last couple of months have been kind of like less than normal, but it's to think about the last couple of months when they're answering. And so in $250 increments. So half of our respondents make $500 or less per month. And in the previous survey, we found that influencer for users tend to make more than that. So if you're like, that sounds low, then that's okay. You're in that half. But what this does to the data is the median is the midpoint when you put half the people on one side and half the people on the other side. And so our median would be like right here at the $500 mark. But a average when you take all of the earnings and divide it by how many people you have. And so the average was more up here around like 1,700. So in the slides, I'll try to indicate if we're talking about median, average, but there's a little recap. So let me know if you got any questions. Oh, I see there's some comments about bad audio. Hey, there are some landscapers outside.
I think I think it's okay. I told her, but I think it will resolve in a minute.
It always takes the best time to do the line.
Literally never fails.
I know, exactly right. Whatever, we're fine. So we talked about half the people make 500 or less, 51%. The top 10%, exactly 10% in our survey, make over 5,000, and the rest are somewhere between the 500 and 5K. So if you're making at least 5K, you're in the top 10% of Amazon influencers. Congratulations. So can you still do Amazon influencer part-time? I know that a lot of you are doing it part-time because in the survey, 64% said they spend less than 20 hours per week. And is that still viable? Like, can you still make good money doing that? And the answer is yes, but that more time does correlate to higher earnings to an extent. There's a few people over here making less money, spending more time. And so I think that I need to check what that count is. I think it might just be a handful of people. But in general, the more time that you spend, the more money you'll make. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because it's kind of like a chicken and an egg, right? Because you're starting out, you're making a little bit, maybe you have a day job where you can't like put time to it because you've got to take care of your expenses in a different way. And then you start making more, and then there's an inflection point where you can drop something else in order to spend more time on Amazon Influencer and then make more. And so with this, at least for myself, that's how it's gone. That like I started making more and was spending a little bit more time, and then was able to drop the day job and then spend more time on Amazon Influencer and make more. So I think they go together. Curious your thoughts on that, Liz.
Well, I'm wondering like if somebody doing 50 plus hours a week is making like less than half than somebody doing 40 to 49, I would be really curious to see how that correlates to where they're spending their time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know you have stuff coming where you talk about kind of like the high earners and how people earn and what percentage comes from which different thing, but 50 plus hours a week and having the lesser income feels really hard. Oh yeah, this is probably true.
Yeah.
That's a good call out, Tyler. I agree with Liz. How long are they taking on videos? I hadn't thought about the movie.
Yes, exactly. And as we go, guys, this is kind of the beta version of this report and findings. And so if you're like, I'd really love to double click in right here, then just let me know in a comment and I'll add it to the final report, because I still have all the data. So to Christina's comment, more time spent on each video does not correlate to higher earnings. And like the quality versus quantity debate is like, people are on both sides. I personally am on the quantity with like good enough quality side of this. And let me tell you why. I think that in other platforms, like maybe YouTube, where you're curating an audience, like that higher quality gets people to stick around. But my hunch is that Amazon shoppers want authenticity, and they don't care if your lawnmower is going in the background. Like, maybe wait if you're going to film a lot. But like the other day, I was filming a video of my husband doing his like protein powder in the morning, and I was holding our baby, and she was like making baby noises during the video, and I still posted it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's just a 1 minute video. So I would love to talk about this some more, because here on the bottom, we have the average time per video. So I asked people, on average, how much do you spend making each on-site shoppable video? Not including like product research for the content, but yes, including how much time you're spending filming, editing, uploading it. And only 25% of influencers spend 10 minutes or less. And those are some of the people making the most money. And so I think part of this is that like, those are probably also people that have been in the influencer program for a while. And so they've kind of learned the craft and gotten better at making those videos quickly. Let's see, there's some comments here.
Yeah, so Pete wants to know, are number of videos also a factor? And I was wondering if the people who are now doing 5 to 10 minutes, they've got their like cadence down, and they're like, they're making $4,000 a month off of it. And also they have 1,000 videos or 4,000 videos or whatever, like their total library content is.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a note. I'm going to add this too. I'd love to look at the time spent per video and then the average earnings per video. Because let's say somebody spends an hour making 10 videos or spends an hour making one video. Is the person that spent an hour making one video making 10x per video, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
To this graph, I don't think so. Maybe some, yes, but not necessarily. And I think, like I said at the beginning, if what you're doing is working for you, if you're spending 45 minutes an hour per video and you're making several $1,000s and happy with that, great. However, if you want to increase your earnings, I think that what this data is telling us is that decreasing the time spent for video likely won't negatively affect your earnings.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do think also, to your point around like holding the baby and authentic things happening around you, one of the things that I'm hearing from brands, from creators, from consumers, but is as there's this push towards AI, that some of those like authentic things that still kind of like pop out as you're a real human, this is your real life, I think actually do. I don't know if we can quantify that yet, but I do think that those sorts of things are going to start to be really important in way of like, not that for YouTube you're going to have less production value, but for something like this where it's intended to be really authentic user generated content, those are may end up being actually a bonus as opposed to maybe previously they would have been a detraction.
Yeah. I see Ben was commenting about like some videos are quick and then some take longer. And I think that in my opinion, my personal workflow anecdotally, I'll do a quick video first. And then if I see it making money, I'll go back to it. I still have the product and then I can make an in-depth video because I'm like, this one is worth it.
Yeah.
But there's like nothing worse than you've spent so much time making a piece of content and then it was for nothing.
Yeah.
You guys don't need to do that.
No. P wants to know, do we factor off-site effort into these AIP numbers?
So this graph is their total earnings across all platforms, or well, across everything that they were considering their Amazon influencer earnings. And so that includes offsite if they were kind of grouping it when they recorded their total.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, so Alina says, it took me a little bit longer in the beginning, but I'm definitely getting better. And that is part of it, right? You know, to Tyler's earlier point, some of those people working 50 hours for like half the, could possibly be those beginners that are just getting started. And so they're, you know, really figuring out their video editing and their process and their workflows. So it does get easier as you go. Let's see. Yeah. I always like to hear about people making top 10% earnings, but with like just 2,000 videos. Yeah. Looking through for questions here. For me, I do videos in one take, so I'm on the 5 to 7 minute range typically, but some of my best videos lately are longer videos of 5 to 10 minutes because they are comparison videos and going in lots of details about features and things I've discovered and extra tips. So I love this because I do think that there is so much value. You know, Amazon's stated purpose for this program is to help shoppers make more confident buying decisions, which, you know, Ben, that's exactly what you're doing, right? Even though it's longer, that's what they're looking for when they're looking at the products that you're doing those comparison videos, right? My guess is, without knowing what type of products you're talking about, that they're probably a little bit higher price point with some complicating factors that people need to learn as they're researching what to buy. Let's see. Guys, I'm going to go back to some of these comments. I'll just pull up some of the questions for Claire as we're going right now. Can we separate off and on-site earnings?
Yeah, Anna, sorry, my daughter's been watching Frozen, so I thought Anna, it's her favorite every day is Frozen. Anyway, in this graph, I didn't separate them, but for the full report, I'll note that down that we can add that.
Yeah. That's all our questions. We got a couple other comments, but
yeah, like I said, I think that this is like he did, because I can see both sides of quantity versus quality. And I think that you can make a pretty good quality video, like 80-20 it in 5 minutes. And that's good. Yeah, but we can talk more about that and we can move on. But in general, if you spend more time in the Amazon Influencer Program, you're likely to increase your earnings and you can find ways to be more efficient. I just sent a few newsletters to my email list about ways to be efficient. And so if you're interested in that, you can join us there. I think it's really fun. So let's say you're doing Amazon influencer part-time, because most of you are. Where should you be focusing those part-time hours, or where do other people say that they're focusing, so that maybe you can kind of like gut check what your plan is? So I asked people which income streams that they earn from to select all that apply, all of them that they earn from. And the majority, almost everybody, earns from on-site and creator connections, and then it kind of goes down the list. But you can see that most people have multiple income streams. And then I asked people from those that they'd selected which one that they were going to focus on in the next 3 months. And 41% said they're going to focus on creator connections. So I'm curious about this. Like, I think when I filled out my own survey, I also said creator connections, but I'm curious what your thoughts are, Liz, about this result.
Yeah, so I think creator connections is one, the direction to go, right? Because I do think, and you guys who have been in the Fluencer fruit space for a long time have heard me say this multiple times. So, but is like we are still in that shift of going from like what was Blue Ocean early program stuff. And so like how you make money is currently in that shift. So it's like we're still doing on-site, we're still doing the shoppable videos that create value for the shopper at the place of their buying decision. And, it's not post 10 videos, make $1,000 like maybe it was 4 years ago in the program, which is good, right? Because we want it to move towards a structure that supports longevity. And creator connections is one of those things that I think really supports kind of like the next iteration of the program. Because like when you look at the on-site shoppable within the ecosystem of product focused content, really the next step is working with brands, which we've all been doing kind of like ad hoc and figuring out and Facebook groups and all those things. But having a place within the Amazon ecosystem where it's terms of service compliant, you can make extra money. Amazon and Logi are the only two locations right now that are doing additional commission for on-site creators, right? So for those of us focused on site specifically, creator connections is 100% the next logical place because it opens conversations with the brands. You can get extra commission for just doing on-site content, whether you're working with the brand or not. And, shameless plug with the Fluencer Fruit Creator Connections widget. It's much easier now because you can like run your ASINs through the widget. It will auto opt you in. And since Amazon changed the terms, you don't have to load a link to your content. It's basically a one-step passive process to make that extra bonus income. And quickly, Logi is the same way. Basically, like once you're signed up with Logi, it's just basically more passive income for stuff that you already have, content on. If it's in the Logi catalog, it's not, you don't have to go post links or anything else. So I think both of those for the on-site creators are really logical in way of like next steps.
Yeah, I agree. I started thinking of my on-site commissions as like my base commission. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm like telling my husband like, oh, how much I made today, I'll say like, oh, I made $100 base commission, but I'm still waiting to see what I earned on creator connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything stacks on the on-site.
Yeah. And that's commission stacking is kind of what I've coined, like really what we're doing right now, right? Because we've got the base commission, to take your word there. And then we've got like all these other creator connections, Logi, Wayward, Levanta Archer, direct relationships with the brands, way of flat fee or ongoing commissions. Like there's a lot of these things, but the real place where we're at in the program right now is stacking all those streams of income into one place. I think of it as the goal being to make as much money off of each piece of content that you create.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Judy wants to know Do you have any recommendations for videos to be repurposed? Is there a formula that checks all the boxes?
I would say in my experience, my like quick, simple videos don't perform super well off site because I think people, if they're searching it, are looking for more information. But I'm okay with that. That's not my focus.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do everything. So I saw a comment of somebody recently saying that they only post to their YouTube channel their review videos that are like more in depth and really good. And I was like, oh, not just post everything. I like this idea. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Yeah. Judy, I know there are a couple people in our crew who do like really specific workflows around repurposing. I will echo what Claire said in way of like, if you're shooting quick, like 30-second or less videos, those might do well as shorts on YouTube, but they're probably not going to be like as consistent as if you're doing more like what Ben was talking about, those longer form 5 to 10 minute deep dives into comparisons and features and those sorts of things in like for those types of repurposing. Now, on TikTok, they might do okay, right? Because that's the type of stuff that does well on TikTok. So I might think about like what your content looks like and how you're formatting it, how long it is, how in depth you're going, and then look at the different platforms. And there's no harm in repurposing it onto all of them, especially if you're utilizing one of the like Repurpose IO or one of those where you just upload once and it puts it everywhere. Like there's no harm in that. But if you're trying to strategically utilize your time and not do a tool that you're just blasting, I might look at like kind of some of those where it might do the best. I just want to acknowledge Christina says 197,000 campaigns is hard to shift through. Like Creator Connections is a lot right now.
Yeah. About this idea of like, where should I focus or like, what about offsite? So I want to check to the next thing because it applies here. So you see that like only 3% of respondents here said that they were planning to focus on offsite. The next thing I'm going to show you is for each of these categories, how much is the average that that group is making. So obviously these top ones are bigger groups. Like we had about 100 responses. So this is like 41 people, 30-ish, about 2 or 3 people down here. So this is really interesting.
Sorry, really quick before you jump in. Sorry, I just want to answer this question for Pete. Pete, this was more than just Fluencer Fruit users. Not everybody who took this survey was a Fluencer Fruit user.
Yeah, it was cross-posted in different places.
Okay, sorry, please go. I just wanted to.
That was great, thank you. So here's the average of how much people make by what they said that they're going to focus on. And so those like 2 or 3 people that said that they're going to focus on brand deals are making a lot. Those 2 or 3 people that said that they're focusing on offsite are not yet making a lot. And so, you can kind of take this with a grain of salt and see where you fall. And again, this is the average with that long tail and a lot of like high earners sprinkled in there and not the median point.
Do you know from the survey if the people that are making the money on brand deals and sponsored content, if they have a robust offsite presence or if they are more focused on onsite?
The data could tell me. I haven't done that analysis yet, but I'm gonna note it down right now.
Perfect. I feel like if you were to ask me like what I would guess, I feel like 50-50, I would guess either they also have robust offsite or that they're like those OG heavy focused on site and they just have enough. They know what their return on investment is for the brands. And they have like, if it's not a good media kit, they've got a solid pitch around the offer.
Yeah, I would say that I think I had this data in the survey that most people can charge between like $50 to $100 for an on-site shoppable video, but that those that are commanding more like higher prices, it's more that the brand is buying your audience and how much awareness that you can bring to that product.
Yeah.
Because if you're creating content for Amazon, you're not really bringing any new eyeballs to their product. The eyeballs are already there on the product page and you're helping convert to them.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a different type of campaign.
Yeah. Agree.
So one thing I looked up too is for those 10 people in our survey that said that they are making at least $5,000 a month, half of them, 5 out of 10, said they are going to focus on creator connections. So I think that if we're taking a summary from that, creator connections is boom in, hop in, people are making good money there, and it's worth some of your focus. And maybe consider your on-site earnings as like a base to stack upon and diversify.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, this next section is fiery. I'm gonna love to hear what you guys think about this. So
this is gonna be your like unpopular opinion, but
I don't even know what I think about this, Liz. So, but I'll let the data speak for itself and add some captioning. But I asked the survey respondents what best matches what you do for your on-site thumbnails, and 8% said nothing. I don't add a thumbnail, like leave it default image. I'll select an image from the video, but do very little editing, like, okay, I like this still. Or I'll make a custom thumbnail, like adding graphics, text, and a little over half said that they do a custom thumbnail. And so I was kind of imagining these to look like this. So these are like 3 potential thumbnails of me. And so, you know, you have a default image or kind of a simple thumbnail, took me 10 seconds to make, or a more detailed thumbnail where I'd have to like get out Canva or get out some other kind of photo editing app. And so I'm curious, you guys, what do you think earns the most money? Maybe I'm giving too much away by how excited I am about it.
The thumbnail questions could be more dissected.
Yeah, I agree, Christine, that there is more variation in that, but like to just like get a bucket of it.
Yeah, Pete, we got you.
Here it is.
I'm just, so which one do you do personally usually?
Okay, let me go back. There's a little sneak peek. I personally usually do the simple thumbnail.
Okay.
I hardly ever use the default image unless like after I upload my video, the default image is better than the simple thumbnail that I would have picked.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, actually I like that better, but that's really rare. And then I'll only personally make an in-depth thumbnail if it's a product that was previously a high earner of mine and now isn't. Or if it's a product that I like really want to do well because it's like if I can keep on that carousel, then it's a really strong opportunity.
Yeah. I think I do something in between simple and in-depth there. Like I usually, I'll like sit to one side and hold the product and then I hold still in my video so I can do a screenshot and then I'll put words on it of like what question I'm answering or something like that. So it's not like super in depth, but it's just enough to not have like the default image.
Yeah. And Liz, when you took this survey, which of these options did you select?
Oh, you know what? I think I picked simple thumbnail because I wouldn't consider myself an in-depth YouTube capability when it comes to thumbnails. So I think I picked simple.
Sure. So there, you guys saw a little sneak peek, but what I found analyzing, comparing thumbnail type to total average earnings per month, there was no difference, not even for those doing nothing. So you might say like, okay, well, 908 is higher than 813, but like statistically for the sample size, like they're pretty much the same. It's not different. And I'm surprised by this. Like, I don't want to believe it, but that's what the data says. And so I think my takeaway from this is if you want to add a thumbnail, A simple one is probably fine. If you don't want to add a thumbnail, this data says it doesn't matter. Not even using the default image.
Which is
So very
wild.
interesting. Yeah, and still that was like 8 people. It wasn't just like one Joe saying, I don't add a thumbnail. Yeah, so very curious. And so then I had a follow-up question for this like 55% that said they make a custom thumbnail. I double clicked into that. I said, are your thumbnails about the same every time? You have a standard format, or are they different every time? And those that have a standard format do earn more than those who have it different every time.
Okay.
And I think this might go back to the efficiency point. Because if you have a standard format and you can just pop another picture in there, then that's a lot faster and you can get more of your videos done. And I saw some questions. This is specifically for the on-site data. I know that on YouTube, like it's pretty well known that a bright thumbnail will perform better. And so this is just for on Amazon earnings.
Yep. Yeah, Anna says, we used to worry about that so much. I know the thumbnail question mark has been like an ongoing conversation in the community for years.
Exactly.
Years.
So now you can just say, Claire says it doesn't matter. I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, the data says, Claire told me, the data says I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. And again, like do what's working for you. If you're making good money doing the type of thumbnails that you do, then keep doing that. I'm not telling you need to change if it's working, but if what you're doing isn't working or you want to improve or be more efficient, here's some ideas.
I like that there's a standard format that does actually make a difference, right? Which makes a lot of sense around like if the amount of time you're spending actually doesn't matter and the thumbnail actually it's not impacting your earnings. What it really comes down to is how do you show up the most authentically, making the most efficient use of your time to get the volume that you need to support your goals. I mean, it kind of is like a really cool story that's being like pulled from the data here.
Yeah, just do a good job quickly. That's what I get from this.
Do you find the thumbnail with words gets on the upper carousel more often? Judy, I wish that we could tell you, but there is not, because of the way Amazon is a black box when it comes to like testing and data and everything else, there's not a great way for us to like test that, not in a way that would truly control enough variables to say conclusively that one does better than the other. Oof. Have you seen this yet, Claire, around CapCut?
No, I use CapCut to edit, but I'm not on TikTok.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a link to a video about it. I have you guys, I will just go ahead and call out that I have not done any follow-up research. My research is one TikTok from this morning. So that is my disclosure. But apparently CapCut put in some very intense updates to their terms of service around their rights to your content. Whether you ever publish it or not, if you are editing it in there, they have access and rights to it. You maintain copyright and whatever. And if they utilize something that you've created with like a Sabrina Carpenter song and they utilize it somewhere else and they get flagged for the copyright, you get tagged for it. Like if what they're saying about it is accurate, it's wild. So my disclosure, guys, I watched one TikTok. That's how she explained it. She is also not an attorney, but I think my takeaway from that is if you're doing thumbnails or you're editing in CapCut, maybe take a pause and go look at what they actually have updated to.
Oh, that's disappointing. I love editing in CapCut, but that sounds intense. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah. Should we pool upper carousel thumbnails with what? Oh, should we use? Sorry, Anna, I don't think I totally understand that. Maybe rephrase for me. If I already make something bright and visual for YouTube, why not just repurpose and use the same things? Agree. Yep. All right. Yeah, this is how I feel about it too, Elena.
Now, just so like an aside, my sister has a YouTube channel. She's like a booktuber, and there's a A/B thumbnail test on YouTube where you can like upload different ones. And she's also an engineer and has like kind of a data background like me. And she several times has uploaded identical thumbnails to the A/B test, and YouTube tells her like 50% or 70% like this one better and 30% like this one better. Like, it's wild for it being the same thumbnail. So I don't 100% trust the YouTube A/B test.
That's actually wild. Like, people put a lot of stock in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you have a YouTube channel, maybe try that and see how variable it is.
Yeah. I would
But
never.
it's probably the sample size too of like how many views you're getting. Of course, if you get more views on each thumbnail, then that would be more accurate because there'd be less prone to error. But yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. I love when people like have like a different kind of like beginning for their thought process, right? Because I never would have thought to test in the YouTube ecosystem like the same as A and B for the split test. So smart.
So we'll wrap up on thumbnails, and I'll share another thing before we're done here. But the idea, do what works for you. You can keep it simple and probably do fine on Amazon. And again, those numbers were for on-site. You know, we know what works for YouTube separately. So next question was, I asked people, if you're hypothetically picking out a product to buy, what are the top 3 things that you look for? And I filtered this in the survey for only those that had previously indicated in the survey that they did like buying products, that they were in the business of picking products. And so here's what those people said. There were about, I think, 40 of them. They said the top thing they look at, sales volume, number of influencer videos, if there's a number carousel, and if there's a creator connections campaign. And for me too, that's also what I would say. Those are everything else. Like, I'll kind of look at the star rating and kind of consider it, you know, price is a consideration, commission consideration, but like those are the big ones. And so a shout out to Fluencer Fruit that it does all of these for you. And so if you do any kind of picking out products, if you're not already a Fluencer Fruit subscriber, I would really recommend it because it makes all of this a lot easier.
Yep. That creator connections integration that we pushed with like the megaphone telling you while you're looking if it's got a campaign is so fun.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Tyler says sales volume. Yep. Morning, Eileen.
So we'll take questions now. If you had any questions on that, you can sign up for the newsletter or pre-order a full copy of the report there on my website link. And if you filled out the survey and then pre-ordered it after your survey response, you'll get emailed a free copy when it's ready, probably next week. And if you didn't fill out the survey or fill out that request, you can pre-order it for $2 now or $9 after that.
Yay! I'm so excited. This is yes, love the megaphone. Me too. You guys, so I will do a couple of shout outs. I'm going to scroll back up through some of the comments because we were pulling questions, but I know we missed some of the like other comments or everything. But I want you guys to like, if you get a chance, go over and sign up for Claire's newsletter in addition to the full report and everything. Like, this is, I'm just going to pull some of the people who were talking at the beginning about Claire's newsletter. I'm getting it as well. And these are all newsletter related, like comments
guys
from the beginning of it.
I put all of those as testimonials on the sign up page.
Yeah. It will take screenshots of that. Yeah. I mean, kind of like what Claire was saying about like her sister did this A/B test using, like, those are things that I just never would have thought of. And the background that Claire has and the way that she approaches information about the program is so fascinating. And because of that, I think she has like, there's a lot of content out in our space about the program and about what's coming and what's currently happening. And Claire's information is always data backed. It's always really solid. It's really well thought through. So I just want to do a plug because I'm on the list. And so like every time I get it, I think I've unsubscribed from almost everything at this point because I'm like, I just don't. But when Claire's drops in my inbox, like I stop and read it to see like what information she's working with this week. So plug.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let me flip back through this. Let's see. All right. I think you made a good point about quality being more important at the higher end of the funnel, regarding like specifically YouTube. But when people are shopping on Amazon, they are in the last stage of the buying journey. I think that's a good call out around that point.
Yeah, I think if they're already on the product page, they know that's something that they might want, and so they might want to confirm like, how big is it? Is it sturdy, or what does the color look like in person, or if it's closed, how does it fit? Those are the type of things that I'm looking for, and so that's the quick things that I'll personally put in my videos.
Yeah, I like to answer questions. You find, right, like over time that there are things that you find matter to you that you end up putting in the videos. For example, I love an assembly with good directions, right? Like,
yeah, who doesn't? Yeah.
I'm almost always like, and this is what the directions look like. So I'm going to tell you that, like, what was the one I put together on TikTok Live the other day? Was like one of those new hanging egg chairs. And it was like they had a picture of two screws next to each other, but so they were like next to each other, the same size. But in real life, like one of the screws was this big and one of the screws was this big. And I was like, hey, so this is not, you like, that's one of the things that when I'm buying, I care about, right? Is how good are the directions? And am I going to be able to figure this out from like the coded cartoon that they send me?
Yeah, totally.
Let's see. Oh, I missed this one. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make good videos because I also upload them on YouTube and grow that. Should I make 2 videos, a quick video for Amazon and then a more comprehensive and polished video for YouTube?
I would say you could, and also no reason that you couldn't upload both to Amazon as well.
That's a great call out. Amazon. Oh, go ahead.
I'll often do like a quick one, and then for the ones that do well, I'll come back and do a more in-depth one.
Yeah. I think too, like the point about you can also upload the longer one to to Amazon. Amazon will let you upload videos that are, I think it's up to 10 minutes. And somebody correct me if they're seeing something different, but I think the last range that I saw was 6 seconds to 10 minutes, which is a little wild, but let's see. I was working from the top, but I know we've got stuff down here. In the future, could you add a question like, do titles like must see before buying really work? Oh my God. Pete,
yeah, I'll tackle titles next time.
I love that. You guys, I just did, and this data is early, like we haven't parsed it yet. Jess is actually working on pulling the raw data and putting it together. I told Claire beforehand, I was like, I'm going to send this to you so you can look at the raw data too.
Yeah.
But I'm working with a seller tool where they do A/B testing on like, do these things matter? And we did a thumbnail test. Now, admittedly, they usually test for sellers. And so they put together like if you're buying a new yoga mat, like which of these thumbnails would you click on? And Pete, I am pretty sure that one of the ones that won was watch this before you buy. And I was like, I don't know why I don't like those so much that I was like, in my heart, I was like, I just want to pull this out. Like I won't, because if it's data, it's data. And that's what the survey said. But I was like, it just, Yeah, so I don't know if that's where you stand on it, Pete, but I would love to also know just kind of like how compelling that is if people are using that, like what their earnings are compared to, everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clickbait. Me too. Okay, you're on the same boat. And then yeah, Tyler says honest review. Yeah. This is my honest review. Um, let's see. How long is the power cord? um, let's see. Love the megaphone. Okay, I've enjoyed Claire's info in her newsletter. Could you tell us what you offer in way of one-on-one coaching?
Sure. I do offer one-on-one coaching. It's priced on my website, and we can meet and talk about your specific needs if that's what you're looking for. Or I'm about to launch an intermediate level course designed for those people that are already making at least like $100, $200 on Amazon Influencer, but are looking to break past 1,000 and beyond. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in and you're ready to try some of these like data-backed strategies, you can also join the course waitlist. It's going to be coming out here in just a few weeks.
That's so fun. You guys, Claire, while you were talking, I was like, oh, I think because I get people who will reach out and be like, do you do coaching? And at the moment, I don't have the margin. I was like, oh, I can send them to Claire.
Sure.
I'm so excited about that. I'm like, oh, good. Somebody that I trust that will do one-on-one coaching. I'm like, I don't know why I hadn't like put that together until just now when you were saying that. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I love coaching. Like a one-on-one call like fires me up. So please reach out if you're interested. Yeah.
I love that. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I get excited when I see one of Claire's newsletters in my inbox because it's been really down to earth and solid, helpful information.
Thanks, Christina. I really appreciate that. That is helpful.
Yep. A lot of great information. Let's see. I scroll right past the videos that have thumbnails like that, the honest review clickbait, like we all know the honest reviews are the scam. So here's the thing. I have to like temper myself because I think though too that there are people who have received a lot of coaching around this who have seen really good results with it. So like it is a formulaic approach to titles and thumbnails. And so as much as I don't love it, I can acknowledge that if people are doing well with it, it's within terms of service. Yeah. Yeah, people are plus oneing. We would love to know like what those are doing. Okay.
I think last week I listened to the webinar that you did with Kalia Wade.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's open to share a link to that recording or if it's just within the like subscriber community, but I'll recap what she was saying. So this gal is she runs like a influencer agency. And so she coaches a lot of influencers. And one thing that she said that stuck with me is about authenticity and how to show up authentically in your video, because you are selling something. Like you are a little bit biased towards selling it and positivity. But she said that the key to authenticity is how the story of how that product fits into your life. So not just like, I have this water bottle and here's its spout and, this is what color it is and it has this lid. Like sometimes they'll do videos like that, but how much more compelling and authentic it is to say like, I need a lot of water and I love this color. It's one of my favorite colors. And I love how my mouth fits around the spout. And like when I'm walking, I carry it with me like this to share the I and the story. And so that was a great reminder from Kalia to like add in not just the features of the product, but how it personally fits into your life. Another I guess tip I have about that is if there's something that you don't like about the product, that mentioning like one con, I think adds some authenticity, because people can tell that you're not just sweeping it under the rug. Like, for example, I was just reviewing this new dining table I got, and I was saying like, if you have a kid that's going to hang on the edge of the table, this might not be for you. But otherwise, I like it. And so I hope maybe that's helpful.
I love that. So the brand strategy sessions with Kalia inside of the Wayward community are gated. So you have to either be a Fluencer Fruit subscriber or a paid member of the community, just so you guys know. But she'll be doing those monthly. And I think it's really interesting because the part that you pulled about authenticity and making it part of your story or how it impacts your life, um, especially for people who in the survey were talking about their next focus is going to be building that offsite piece, and people who were talking about working directly with brands. So those two kind of categories of what you're focusing on. Because on site, we can do a lot of like, this is the cup feature, and like, because people are looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're incorporating that offsite, that brand conversation, having those eye conversations around like how it's part of your life or what you like about it, like it does make a big difference for authentically selling, to quote Bob here. Authenticity sells and BS repels. And people can tell, right? Like that's why when you hear people who like TikTok, for example, they're like, yeah, the one that I hardly edited, I filmed in 5 seconds, it blew up, right? Because you're not thinking, you're just talking about something that happened. Now, we can't always show up that way, right? Because whatever, but that is why those tend to blow up because you're super authentic in that moment. The secret to success is sincerity. Once you can fake that, you've got it made.
That's my dad.
I love that.
My dad, thanks. That's literally a dad joke. Love it.
That's so good. Denise says pre-ordered the report and signed up for the wait list. Perfect timing as I just started doing this full time.
Oh, congrats, Denise. Yes, love that for you. Good.
Love that. I also want to echo what Claire said about like giving something constructive or a con when you're doing those things. Like I did one about one of those dog hair brushes, pet hair brushes, and I was like, honestly, like it wasn't my favorite thing I've ever had, but I was like, here are 2 types of carpet that you don't want to use it on, and here's the one type that you do, right? So it was like super shaggy carpet. This is just going to be you're just going to pick your carpet apart. But this really low pile, like this works really well. And I do think that, thinking through like helping shoppers make more confident buying decisions, right? That does help them. If they've got only shag carpet, I don't know, like
yeah. And I know that in like the Amazon do's and don'ts for creators, it says something, maybe we should pull up exactly what it says, but it says like essentially don't bash the product. Like you don't want to be like, this is the worst thing I've ever bought and I hate it so much because of this. Like you don't want to be rude. I don't think anybody wants to watch that. But if there's something that you're doing a video on and you really didn't like it, you could take the approach of like, here are the reasons I did not like it or it didn't work for me in my life. But here's if you have this different about you, then it might be good for you.
Yep. That, and I also sometimes couch that as here's something that I wish I had known before I got this is X. Like the other day I bought a new light for my home office. And I was like, oh, I wish that I had spent more time reading the listing to know that it doesn't come with a stand. So then I had to like go buy a separate stand. Now, if people are like me, they skim the site. Are they really going to watch my video to find out that it doesn't have a stand? I don't know. But it's something that I wish that I had spent more time reading.
Yes. And then if you have that as your title caption, what I wish I'd known, like it's a little like clickbaity, but you're delivering on the promise. And I think another like caveat to this of like adding cons is if you've been paid to create that content, if it's a brand deal and like a paid brand deal, you don't want to tick off the brand by listing too many cons. And so you can, navigate that relationship gracefully. But if it was really a really bad product and you didn't feel comfortable making positive content about it, you could reach out to the brand and work that out with them.
Yep. Sorry, I'm making notes. I have this habit of being like, oh yeah, I thought of all these like things during like the call. So I'm like always taking notes over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Alina says pros versus cons. Yep,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
exactly. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to put up on the banner, and Claire's got it on the screen here with her information. But I mean, if you're not convinced about her newsletter yet, I mean, I will put up some more comments about how much everybody loves the newsletter. But go get on the wait list, pre-order the report. She's already talked about if you participated in the report, how that's getting delivered to you. But Claire, thank you so much for joining me today. I
Happy
love
birthday.
I just want this to be on like the recurring 6 month where every time you do it, like we get to do this live. It's so fun. Yeah.
Amazing.
Um, all right, guys, little bit of calendar. I will be out of town without internet for 5 days. So I know you will all miss me and I will miss you too. In the meantime, Jess will be in the inbox for hello@fluencerfruit.com and she will be in circle. So if you need anything, you can tag her there. Um, don't worry, from the software and the community side, we have full coverage. So you guys should be in good shape. Um, I am going to be doing office hours next week from a different location once we get back from the boat. So we'll just play along with all of my usual, like technical, I'm in a new place moments. Those will be back inside of the Wayward creator community. So if you're not in there already with us, we would love to have you. And I think that's it. So we'll have like regularly scheduled office hours over the next couple weeks. The one that I will not be doing is July 17th, I think is the Thursday of that week. So I'll be out that week. So every other week we'll have our normal schedule office hours, but just so you guys know early and often that I will be out that week. So thank you again, Claire, for joining us. Let me click back over to the comments and just see if we've got anything that we want to chat about before we hop off. Claire's the first fellow Amazon influencer I met in person. I didn't know that. That's so
That was so
fun.
fun. Yeah, Ben and I were both in the Phoenix area and got to like meet up at a Starbucks and just chat, talk shop, and like one thing Ben said was funny is like, oh my like wife isn't excited anymore when I tell her how much I made. I'm like, I'm excited for you, so we'll text like, have a good day.
I love that. Oh my gosh, how fun. Well, guys, I hope you have a lovely weekend. Claire, thank you again for joining us. And you guys, we will see you again next week at our normal time and normal place. So have a good weekend.